like the Kevin Bacon story, like Two Steps from a Certain Thing. Musical Romance allowed Pinnacle Racing Stable, which I manage, the opportunity to get more partners in it, have more money available to buy more expensive horses. Like this one has a group of three groups of Blues horses, because we needed more money in the April sale to compete, because price of horses has gone up. But without Musical Romance doing what she did on the track, we were never going to be able to afford this type of horse because we didn't have enough attention to it. So with her success, it really is the impetus to get a, in my point exactly, another horse that we're lucky to have. The other thing also is that people have to put this more into perspective. This is a horse that's won 2 races. There are not a lot of options for him. If you really took a look at what options there were, if you really look at Friday's overnight stakes race with Competitive Edge and Mr. Jordan, if they were in this race, they would be, just on talent alone, not what they've done recently, not recent, but they're just as talented as any horse in this race. So that race wasn't going to be easy. So that left us with the opportunity to run either at 7 furlongs or on the turf at the Florida Bred Day at Tampa. And you want to know something? You're better off just to walk out of your bed. Let's just see where we're at. I don't think anybody here has any grandiose plans. We want the horse to come out of this race well, looking forward to the future. But if you look at this race, it's very top heavy. And there's one thing that we know about this horse is that this horse wants to go a distance in ground. And if the horse can get a distance in ground and can get it on Saturday, maybe he can get a piece of this. I can't say, hey, to all the wise guys, go out and bet this race. That'd be really unfair. I mean, people are going to zero in on buyer speed figures, sheet figures, rag figures, and there's not anything in this race that would say, man, I'm going to go get my mortgage payment, let's dump it on my point exactly. It's not going to work that way. So it's just one of those things we're just taking a shot. Not to say glad to be there, but let's give it a shot.
Just successfully avoid that down to 61.
Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely. I mean, he's not going to get played, and most South Florida horses don't get played during the bulk of the main portion of the race,
which is still something I don't fully understand.
No, but that's just the way things are. People see a Javier Castellano or John Velasquez, they look at a Juan Leyva and say, no, we'll go to this one. They forget the one the Breeders' Cup Forest, different things like that. They put too much analysis on the jockey's important, obviously. But again, the horse has to take it. And I don't know what's going on with the Derby, but it seems like people's philosophies have changed quite a bit because they've started to look at horses that have only gone 2 and 3 races, maybe even 1 race into the Derby. And that's changed the whole philosophy of many trainers going into it. Maybe because injuries have become so prevalent, but it's not the most ideal thing. And we do have him nominated for the Derby, but that was more so because it was $600, not $6,000. That's me. That's me.
Still you say the horse has to take care of the horse.
Absolutely.
How important, how much do you want about the horse? How much does the elf have to be secondary? Like you're saying?
I think with most owners, the more meddlesome you become with the trainer, the worse things are. And I think that's really the thing. And it's hard for an owner. They want to be informed, which is correct, but they also want to put input into things that's not really their forte. And sometimes I've been guilty of that. But as I've gotten more experience, I've kind of stayed away from it more and more. My responsibility is to manage the partnership, recruit new people into the group, get people excited about being an owner. My job should not be picking out races, asking how the horse, it's nice to ask how the horse trained, but it's not like I don't get a daily okay, we have 7 horses, let's go run through what they did today. I just don't think that, I think you're not going to have a long-lasting relationship with a trainer. And I've been with Bill, Pinnacle as a group has been with him, it's going to be going on 13 years. That's a long time with a trainer. Most people change trainers very frequently when they don't have any success. And as a group, Pinnacle lost its first 22 races in a row. Most owners are not staying on board for 22 races and still staying on board. And I think that's kind of important. I think it's important for owners to know that you hired somebody at first. There must have been a kinship or a belief or a rapport level that you felt comfortable with. And I think you really take a look at the landscape of horse racing. There is an awful lot of changing of trainers.
Everybody gets into this thing. Nobody, I mentioned nobody for that matter.
Well, in my particular case, it was kind of unique. I tried to get a job as a sportscaster right out of college. My family moved down here and did not get a job. But at that time, I was very big into fantasy sports. I played baseball in college. I was really big into it. But I didn't want to participate playing softball. And I found myself at Calder. And somehow, the fantasy of Calder and watching the thoroughbreds and analyzing the races, I wanted to become more involved somehow, some way. I was not rich. I sell photocopiers for Xerox. I've been doing it for 20 plus years. And I became really, really in love with the game. You know, at that time I didn't know what the highs and lows were, but I always envisioned that the lows happened to the other person, not me. And then I realized, you know, that it is part of the game. But, you know, I don't, how old are you? 21. Okay, I'm 47. You as a 41-year-old, it's pretty young to be interested in horse racing. Most people, either your family has gotten you involved or you grew up in it. Okay, so there's the interest level. If you take a look at the sport and you just walk through a simulcast facility, you don't see any young people. So I halfway wanted to get involved with being an owner, and the other half, the only way for me to do it was to start my own partnership, which I felt like if I could sell photocopiers, maybe I could sell something that you can really get excited about, which is being in the paddock and having. And when I get people involved, I never say you may have a horse in the Florida Derby, because I never present something that is just too much. I think the sales pitch is how exciting it is, and that I don't think you can compare to somebody when your horse, whether it's a $5,000 claiming race, whether it's an overnight stakes race, or whatever it is, the feeling you get when your horse wins, it's indescribable. I can't even explain it. You know, for somebody that played sports all the way through high school and college, it's close. But, you know, there's never been a Saturday morning when I didn't dread, like, you know, looking forward, I can't wait to go see the horses work. I can't wait to go to the sales. I can't wait to be there at 5:30. There was something about it. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because, I think part of it, it gives you some deviation from your personal life to see things. And we allow everybody in the group to come, but it allows you to do things and kind of escape. No, I don't think it's coaching because he coaches. He's the general manager. He selects the horses. His most important job his two important jobs to us is to manage the horses, and Bill does something that most people don't realize. He buys every single horse that we race. Now, you look at other trainers, and I don't want to. I bet you if you ask Todd, of the horses that are in your barn that are running on Saturday, those two horses, he may have given a nod for materiality, but materiality was brought by Steve Young. The other horse was bought by Starlight Stables and Jack Wolf and Frankie Brothers, the trainer bought that horse. Bill does everything, and for the amount of money that we give him, he's done amazing stuff. You know, I mean, everyone can say you can get lucky once in a while. You can buy a musical romance for like $21,000, but he also had 3 horses on the Derby Trail prior to that, you know, that were bought for a lot of money. So there's a lot of value because he doesn't get fixated. We do all our buying at the 2-year-old sales, and we're not looking for the horse that went 10 flat, 20 and change, because those horses typically don't stand up, and that doesn't give you a good representation of what they may be like 4, 6, 8 months from now. But he has a great eye to do that, and that's something that's his specialty.
But you kind of go back to the point of
Yeah. Baseball, I look at baseball being almost, I love drawing the similarities between baseball and horse racing. Yeah. He's going to the bullpen or he's going to Buffalo?
He's going to Buffalo.
Yeah.
And he's not playing baseball.
No. Okay, but I'll draw a comparison to you then. I've tried to take a lot of the Moneyball theories and try to transfer them to horse racing in some degree, whether it's buying at the sales. But I will tell you something that's so dead on. You got me pitching in horse racing. What are some of the same factors? Take a look at some of the best sprinters. They don't last very long as you're going out of the course. Take a look at some of the better distance runners. They seem to last a little longer, and the ones that come from behind last longer. So there's a correlation, you know, with injuries and pitching in baseball versus what we do, you know, with the horses. It's very similar. Have you ever looked at it that way? Yeah, it's very similar, you know, in terms of the way people look at it. And I had to draw a parallel because baseball is my passion. And I looked at horse racing and man, there's a lot of similarities. One was on the grass. The horse that won the race was a sneak zip filling. Yeah, beat the boys. Went on to be grade 1 place in California. Was sold. He's now a Jerry Holland. And then the next race, I don't even know who won. It was a 6 furlong sprint because that's all that there is. So
So if you know that you have a distance horse, the only thing that you can train this horse to do is to learn to pass horses. Because Bill says this all the time. The first couple of races, these horses have got to learn. Because we do win first time out, but it's almost by accident. They have to learn to pass runs. If a horse finishes second to last but passes a one runner, they think they won. So you have to keep the educational process. You'll never see a Bill Pavlik horse go speed out at 44 and a half and all of a sudden peter out because he knows he has to rebuild that whole horse training. So I don't think I've answered any of your questions.
You know what? You've given me a great story, nonetheless.
There you go, Tim. Adam Lazarus.
Sorry I kept you in the sun this long.
No, I'm
sorry
trying to do my
interrupted.
sales